If you clicked on this video, you're probably familiar with Tomoko Kawase and/or her two alter egos, Tommy February6 and Tommy Heavenly6. She's been inactive as an artist for about 7 years and has completely vanished from social media for 3, but her music has recently undergone a large revival, mostly due to her single Lonely and Gorgeous blowing up on TikTok. And while Tomoko herself seems to be living the quiet life, Sony Music, who owns her old record label Death Star, has been promoting her music the best they can. In 2025 alone, we got 2 live screenings of old concerts, vinyl re-releases of her old albums, 2 interviews with her husband and producer Shunsaku Okuda, and this awful looking TikTok filter. Remember Tommy February6? She's back in retro form! A few months ago, I released a video giving a brief rundown of Tomoko's career as Tommy February6 and Tommy Heavenly6, and it got just a little more views than I expected. And like right after release, I thought, man, I could go way deeper into this. So that's what I'm setting out to do. In this video series, I'm gonna go over Tomoko Kawase's entire music career as her 2 alter egos, Tommy February6 and Tommy Heavenly6. I still haven't listened to the Brilliant Green, oopsies! But why, Jeremy? Why do you want to painstakingly research the legacy of an inactive music artist whose most popular song came out before you were even born, and primarily speaks a language you couldn't even hope to understand? Well, the music of the 2 Tommy personas, accompanied by the small bits of lore that Tomoko divulges regarding them, have taken a special place in my heart. I feel there's a story to be unraveled about what it truly means to be yourself, and I discovered February and Heavenly at just the right time to really appreciate it. Also, I have her on my 3DS, I think that means I'm qualified enough. I really want to honor Tomoko's creations in the best way that I can, and for me, the best way is to obsessively research every little factoid that I can. So without further ado, here's part 1 of the complete history of Tommy February6 and Tommy Heavenly6. Tommy's story starts approximately 30 years ago with the start of the rock band The Brilliant Green, or Booty Goody. This 3-man group consisted of Ryo Matsui, the guitarist, Shunsaku Okuda, the bassist, and Tomoko Kawase, the vocalist. For their time, they were very big in Japan, though I admittedly haven't researched much of them. The band serves as a good introduction to Tomoko's character. The grungish rock that the Brilliant Green is most known for was juxtaposed by her deep fondness for the cutesy. Among other things, Tomoko was a huge fan of Elmo, frequently posing with pictures of Elmo plushies, and in concerts she would frequently just have Elmo stuff thrown on stage. She also has a fondness for the Powerpuff Girls. Specifically, she seems to really like Bubbles, and in fact one of the Brilliant Green songs was used as an opening theme for the show's Japanese dub. Eventually, around 2001, the Brilliant Green went on a hiatus, and the individual members began to focus on solo projects. So what happens when you give Tomoko, a girl with both a cutesy and edgy streak, free reins to make whatever music she wants? Well, she becomes an alcoholic. In 2001, Tommy February6 debuted to the world with the single Every Day at the Bus Stop. The 6 is supposed to be silent, but I don't know, it just doesn't sound right calling her Tommy February. February was a stark departure from the image that Tomoko had created for herself during her time in the Brilliant Green. Tommy February6 was loud, bubbly, and overly cute, employing the arcane power of 80s synthpop to create a character who seemed like she was on top of the world. But amidst this peppy demeanor is one interesting quirk. She really likes alcohol. Tomoko has gone on record saying she has a naturally negative worldview, which February is supposed to encapsulate. The idea for February was to be a more outwardly human depiction of a Japanese pop artist, a girl who tries to hide her negativity and unwellness behind a sickly saturating exterior. She says that she got the idea for February while watching a cheerleader competition. She says, and I quote, "I was so moved by the cheerleaders that I cried so much. I thought, how come these girls are so cheerful, energetic, and full of youth, yet I'm so negative and gloomy? Then I thought, I should create an idol with happy cheerleaders in the background so they can boost me up with good energy." Additionally, from what I've researched, the decision to make February so specifically a synth-focused pop artist was due to Tommy having previously wanted to cover Strawberry Switchblade Since Yesterday on the Brilliant Green, but it didn't really match their style. It's kinda impressive just how meticulously crafted February is as a persona. Tomoko put a lot of thought into creating a character that reflects her inner self in an exaggerated way. She wears glasses to invoke this sense of nearsightedness, which combined with the book she was always carrying around, which is interestingly enough, the 80s young adult novel Sweet Valley High by American author Francis Pascal, gives her a very nerdy charm. In fact, I'm kinda sad that she dropped this bookworm shtick as fast as she did. It's very endearing. The cheerleaders are her tether to the happy-go-lucky demeanor that she wants to maintain. Whenever they're on screen, she's always happy and dancing along with them, but it's only when they're gone that she ends up being a bit more melancholic. And of course, the alcoholism represents her inner negativity and mental instability, being a pretty comedic reminder that February isn't all sunshine and rainbows like she acts. She tends to sneak swigs of a canteen in the middle of music videos and even concerts, where it took me until the end of a certain song to actually realize that it was indeed supposed to be alcohol. And the pop music that she produces is obviously overly peppy and at times parody-like. You can't make a song about joyfully waiting every day at the bus stop so you can see your boyfriend and have 100% sincerity as you blow the head off of a mannequin dressed as a cheerleader. Okay, let's start something interesting. Tommy outfit tier list. Every day at the bus stop gets a solid A. I don't know if it's just me, but this outfit gives her a strangely mature look. She gives off nice mom vibes, I don't know how else to describe it. February carries a unique American-esque vibe, or well, how the Japanese think Americans are like. The nickname Tommy was chosen due to it being an American name, and also February6 is her birthday in case that needed elaboration. She led the charge of English in J-pop despite not actually being a fluent English speaker, working a lot of it into her music to the point that she has original songs sung solely in English. Hell, the cover for her debut album, aptly titled Tommy February6, has her showing off a bunch of specifically American food items. But let's rewind a bit. Every Day at the Bus Stop did very well, peaking number 12 on those music charts I know nothing about. February6 was a success, and with success comes slimy corporations. Hey Sony, didn't expect to see you this early. February's first collaboration came with the song Kiss One More Time, where the music video was themed around Sony's robot dog Aibo 3XX, which is like this toy robot that released a few months earlier. Apparently the song has a functionality where if it's played in front of an Aibo, it'll presumably mimic the dance done in the music video. There's no footage of that online, so I don't know for sure. Assuming I'm not being lied to, that's pretty cool. The music video itself is kinda weird because it's essentially split into two halves, one that's techno, and then the other has February and some disconcertingly identical cheerleaders getting beamed onto a soccer court by a UFO. I'm 90% sure the soccer theming is a nod to the RoboCup, a robot soccer league that used to have the Aibos as players the teams would have to program to play soccer. So if I'm right, that's awesome. If I'm wrong, I have no clue why they suddenly changed the music video to be about soccer. This isn't the end of February's collaboration with this dog, as she also played a part in the show that it had. Yes, the Aibo had a show, it's called Poropo. It seems there's quite literally only one English translation of the show in existence, and it's only of the first episode, so I cannot tell you what the show is about. She voices the character Picky, who's a penguin with a broken beak. That's all I can tell you. She also composed its credits song, Tommy Febbrate Macaron. I'm like 90% sure this is a bot translation of the intended name, Tommy Febbrate Macaron, because Latte and Macaron are the names of the Aibo models that were being promoted. Whenever the song is listed on an album, it's written in only Japanese, so it's only fairly recently the song was given an official English title. And with Tommy's brand manager's track record with English spelling, I think it checks out for this to just be them not knowing the context behind the song's title and translating it incorrectly. Either way, I now know that the beeps at the beginning and end of the song is supposed to be like the beeps that the Aibos make. That's a cute touch. And for the tier list, we found ourselves a very quick S tier, it's enough to make a little Jamm blush. And then B tier and low B tier, the costuming is really good with this one. As a closing note for the single, I wanted to point out that the covers for both this and Every Day at the Bus Stop consist of the cheerleaders in the music video standing in a black void. I only point this out because it's only like this with these two albums and it's weird that it happens twice. After this would be her third single, Bloomin'. There isn't too much to say about this one. The music video is a parody of Alice in Wonderland, which is cute. This may be controversial, but pink outfit in C tier. It feels kinda bland for my taste. The Alice outfit is another solid B though, very cute. It seems that Bloomin' was used as the music for a commercial line by the makeup company Shiseido, sure, which February herself parodies in a commercial flow single. Though this raises the question of whether or not Bloomin' was made with this promotion in mind, I have zero clue. I would assume not, but the makeup commercial showcases an alternate version of the single's cover with this animation that isn't in Bloomin's commercial, which would be a weird amount of effort put in just to name drop the song playing in the background. I'm finally paying the price for not knowing a lick of Japanese yet diving headfirst into a primarily Japan rabbit hole. Very recently, the artist Iroha covered Bloomin' in partnership with Shiseido to promote their new Bloom Collection product line, which is really cool to see. Bloomin' would be the last single released before February's first album released, titled Tommy February6. It released, well would you look at that, February 6, 2002, and reached number 1 on the charts, which means absolutely nothing to me, but I know that's really good. I'll say, these past two singles were nowhere near enough to prepare anyone for the straight goofiness that comes out of an early February album-only song. Candy Pop and Love is so sickly sweet, and Hey Bad Boy makes me embarrassed every time I listen to it. And then there's I'll Be Your Angel, which still absolutely baffles me in how stellar it is. It's so pleasant and soothing to listen to, and this combined with, once again, Hey Bad Boy shows Tomoko's insane vocal range. My favorite song of the album? Is tied between Tommy Feb Latte Macaron, yes I'm convinced that's supposed to be the actual name, and I'll Be Your Angel, with Kiss One More Time close behind. Pretty much since her debut, February showed an interest in collaborating with brands. So, what's next? The answer rhymes with Waylaid Rexito Bam, yes I put that on my script. In 2003, once again on Tommy's birthday, she released her next single, Je T'aime, Je T'aime, where she partners up with the little twin stars from Sanrio. You know, Lala and Kiki. The little twin stars are now permanently associated with February for me, which doesn't mean much since I don't even know they existed until I discovered her, but I do wonder why they were chosen over any other of Sanrio's mascots. I really want to find an interview that talks about her choice of characters, but due to something else emerging this year, it seems like all the interviewers had greater priorities than asking about Lala and Robot Boy, damn it! Regarding the song itself, this is easily my favorite February track. It has such a unique vibe that I feel she's never captured in another song. I really like its music video. It's hard to put into words what it feels like. It's kinda dreamy and surreal, but not in a weird or abstract sense, it just does whatever. This cake says Jamie, this cake says Jamie, this cake says Jamie, you're never gonna see this cake says Jamie. One of my favorite pieces of random Tommy trivia is that this song was covered in a tribute album to a completely unrelated manga about death metal. This is what it sounds like now. Oh yeah, tier list, let's say A tier and high B tier. They're pretty similar outfits, both very simple which gives them charm, and if it weren't for the big ass logos it'd be pretty easy to replicate. I like the pink a lot more though, that's why it goes in A tier. The next single released was Love Is Forever, which is another one of those sickly sweet February songs that are completely unapologetically silly. I don't know what this music video is trying to depict. February is in this room dancing along with cheerleaders as it cuts to camera footage from inside her bedroom, and it's all these creepy shots making me feel like an actual stalker. Also, is that the S tier alert? I think it is! And the main outfit is also a solid A tier, it's pretty cute. Though I have no idea what it's going for, somebody tell me if I'm an idiot. I never mentioned this, but February's drinking habit started to die down sometime after Kiss One More Time. Both Blooming and Je T'aime had no drinking references, so I guess Tommy decided to reincorporate it at full stop in this one. I came across someone's blog post about February a while back that insinuated that the bit for this music video is that she showed up to the production drunk, and you know what? That's my new headcanon. Yep, I'm making Tommy February6 headcanons now. But like, the video starts with her unconscious while holding her signature flask, which was put into this fuzzy pink sleeve as if she was trying to make it seem more appropriate to be carrying around. And when she wakes up, she looks like she'd rather be anywhere else and hides the flask behind a pillow, which to me just reads like she passed out drunk and now she has to film with a hangover. And then there's a bit where she just dips into a closet to eat candy from her microphone, which is like a candy dispenser, which is a really cute design choice. I like this, as her cheerleaders just dick around on their own. And like, just look at her, she's only barely lip syncing in this part, and this little jig just screams I need to get out of here. And once the song is over, she returns to where she stored her flask, and very clearly looks around to see if anyone is there before drinking so much that she passes out again. There's a time loop joke I can make here, but the truth is that it's more complicated than that because she could be in a double time loop. About a month before the Love Is Forever single released, February had a concert where an interesting development occurred. In the middle of her set, she suddenly took off her glasses and began playing an entirely new rock sound that resembled her roots as part of the Brilliant Green, calling herself Tommy Heavenly6. Heavenly represents the aspects of February that she tried to suppress, the parts of Tommy herself that she created February specifically to embody. During this time, Tommy was starting to get disillusioned with February's character. February was someone who bottled up her true negativity in a darkly comedic way that juxtaposed with the lovey-dovey persona that she crafted. But now her public image was just getting cleaner and cleaner until she was kinda being seen as just another pop artist, and that frustrated her. The original idea of February was a character who was troubled, realistically almost comically so, but remained happy and childish despite that. But as her popularity grew, Tommy became a little too ambitious with February, taking deals that she felt betrayed her personal image of what February was supposed to be. And like, yeah, she's making songs for kids shows and collaborating with Sanrio characters. I imagine it must be hard to not see yourself as a kiddie artist at that point. So my theory is that this resulted in the Love Is Forever music video being like a parody of February herself, where she just kinda had it with her profession and is barely trying to show interest in filming a music video. So all of this emotion resulted in Tommy making another persona, one who expressed her feelings shamelessly, And Heavenly's first single, which would release on the same day as Love Is Forever, has a music video that's a continuation of this one. But then Heavenly would go silent for about a year, as February got ready to wrap up her next album. Heavenly ends up being a very important part of Tommy's career, but she wouldn't get a debut album for 2 whole years, and at the moment, I believe she was just mostly intended to be a mouthpiece that Tommy could yell into when she was getting sick of singing about love and rainbows as February. So I don't want to derail this ride by going in depth about Heavenly's antics. But don't worry, she'll get her time to shine soon. While Je t'aime is my favorite song, her next single Magic in Your Eyes is my favorite music video. I said this in my prior video, but this is the perfect representation of February's character. It's so surreal and goofy. The plot, if you can even call it that, is that February is riding an airplane through outer space and parties with hip-hop dancing aliens. None of it makes sense and is implied to just be a dream, except for the fact that there's another February who's a flight attendant. That is real. Makes you wonder if there's another February flying the plane. Also, we get the most blatant drinking scene you'll get in a February music video. You could argue that her flask in the older music videos could just be magic water. You'd get laughed out of the room, but you could argue it, but in this it's pretty hard to deny that she drinks. And for the tier list, there are so many different costumes in this one video it's kind of unreal. There are at least 2 that I swear have at most 30 seconds of screen time, and it's the cutest ones that have the least screen time. This orange one is high B tier, the Orpal is mid B right next to the flight attendant outfit, the really cute red one that barely shows up is A. I generally have zero opinion on this one so it gets mid B, and then high A tier for this random outfit cause hell yeah. Also fun fact, this song served as the opening theme for the Japanese drama Bewitched in Tokyo. Now am I going to find and legally acquire this Japanese drama just so I can provide context? Magic in Your Eyes was the last single released by February before her next album, Tommy Airline. This one released on March 17, 2004, and was themed around, you guessed it, a Tommy February themed airline, so everything is loosely themed about airplanes and vacationing. The album came packaged with a lot of stuff to really sell the feeling of taking an airplane trip. There's a boarding ticket claiming that the plane is heading towards my eyes, Tommy's passport, themed postcards, and a luggage label. Sure, none of this is going to change your life, but this is a really cute detail that definitely did not need to be added to the package, but gives it so much more life. Tommy really went all out with the airline theming. The very first track, Attention Please, isn't even a song. It's a spoken track mimicking the message you'll hear on the intercom of an airplane, thanking you for taking the titular Tommy Airline on a trip to space. So I guess the Magic in Your Eyes music video was setting up this album's theme. A large chunk of the songs in this album have an interesting naming scheme where random letters are capitalized for seemingly no reason. Trust me, I checked and found no linguistic use case for... Why? Did I really expect me to say this whole thing out loud? Okay. Tulieo Susindinakabiyaramurskirger. But you're welcome to analyze that. There are 4 tracks out of the 12 without the strange capitalization. I assume Je t'aime and Love Is Forever are like that just because they came before the album was conceptualized. Futari no Seaside is in Japanese which doesn't have standard Latin capitalization, and for I Still Love You Boy I have no clue, just wants to be special I guess. Now my favorite track? That's pretty obviously Je t'aime, but out of the songs that debut in this album, I'm torn between Sepia Memory and I Still Love You Boy. I Still Love You Boy is like I'll Be Your Angel from the first album and how beautiful it is, and I've just been hard sleeping on Sepia Memory, it's so groovy. To be honest, there's like 4 songs in this album that I barely remember. Like I could not tell you a single lyric from The Rose Fragrance even if you put a gun to my head. But all the songs I do remember are really, really good, or Choose Me or Die.
If you don't say you love me, I'll kill you. Tell me your once to choose me or die.
Do I rate Tommy Airlines above Tommy February6? I don't know, I think they both have an assortment of very good songs. Tommy February6 has more consistently solid songs, but Tommy Airlines has the higher highs. This would be the last album that February would release before a pretty long hiatus, but we've still got a bit more to go through before that. Like the Tommy Angels. This was a side project that Tommy produced in 2003, featuring a group of 4 cheerleaders going to Tommy school I guess, to become fitting cheerleaders for February. The project culminated in one single, with 2 original tracks and a cover of Every Day at the Bus Stop. Maybe not the best song to cover considering it's not exactly the most cheerleader friendly, One of their songs, titled Oun Surukara, has a bit that's really similar to Magic in Your Eyes, but came out like 2 months before it. I'm not surprised if you've never heard of them. This seems to be a super obscure project from Tommy, and they are really hard to research. I found an archive for an official website dedicated to them, and somehow I don't think this is going to help me. The only thing I can find about the actors is their supposed names on this website called Generatia, and I'm inclined to believe this because if you're going online and lying about the names of the Tommy Angels, you must actually have nothing going on in your life. I think this concept is funny because it implies that all of Tommy's cheerleaders are certified to dance in the background and get their heads blown off, but I don't know if the Tommy Angels really had the potential to be anything more than a strange attempt at world building. Well, we'll never know because this was their only single. I guess they flunked out of Tommy school. And also, I didn't really know where to put this, but Tommy put out a Hawaii travel guide in 2002. It contains a lot of cute images, but it's also entirely in Japanese, and to be fair, I could go and translate every single image, but I could also chop my eyes off with a hacksaw and that would be slightly more pleasurable. Also, since I know someone is going to say something, no, I am not powerful enough to rank every outfit in this book. Maybe if you gave me $10,000 I'd consider it. Back to chronological order, Tommy would release 2 more singles that ended up being pretty big points in her career. How big? Pikachu big. Enter Lovely, Yumi Mero Lovely Boy, releasing on July 14th, 2004, a few days before it would appear in the Japanese credits of the Pokemon movie Destiny Deoxys. I don't need to tell you just how insane it is that Tommy got to make a song for Pokemon. She's among the ranks of Hatsune Miku and Ed Sheeran. The music video for this one consists of February going to the UK and hanging out with Pikachu. Well, what the hell, sure. That Pokemon Pikachu Pika paycheck must have been pretty large, cause this is the most moving parts you'll see in a Tommy music video. There are so many different actors just doing stuff, I don't know who to comment on. Maybe these guys. I only noticed this very recently, but there's a woman who walks by in the first chorus, and the dog she's walking is a balloon corgi. There's some stuff you just can't make up, and this is at the top of the list. I love the Pikachu costume they used for the music video. It's got the big chunkiness of the original Gen 1 design, and it looks miserable to be inside, and that's beautiful. This is the only opportunity I have to mention this, but Tommy does specifically like Pikachu's original design the most, cause you know, it's physically incapable for her to be wrong. And for the tier list, yet another high B, but sorry, this one's a C tier. One neat piece of trivia about this song is that it technically gives us the first piece of non-clothing Tommy merchandise, at least as far as I've researched. Introducing the Tommy, no not that one, Pikachu Footy Footy friend. Squeeze its hand and it plays a cute rendition of Lovely. Now either I suck balls at searching for Japanese merchandise or this thing is super obscure because I can't find a single image of it or anything anywhere. To be fair, it doesn't help that there seems to be another, also super rare toy with a Footy Footy friend Pikachu name, and then a load of other unrelated toys also made by Tommy, so it's not like there's one clear-cut path to finding it that I'm missing. I hope. The only footage I can find of this thing's existence is an unboxing video from the YouTuber Hinata Konan, who's a Tommy historian like me except way better at her job. Not to derail, but there's a ton of random crap I just never would have learned if it weren't for her videos. Check out her channel sometime. Also, I believe she just has the only way to listen to one of Tommy's EPs without importing a CD from Japan. Thanks, Danica. This single also comes with another song, a cover of Dusty Springfield's I Only Wanna Be With You. I really like this cover. I heard it for the first time in one of those YouTube videos that are a playlist of songs, and I was so enamored that I manually sifted through covers of the original song until I found this one, and now I'm here. What the heck, the entire trajectory of the last 5 months of my life were engineered solely through me clicking on a video titled Kawaii Princess Playlist. The next single to come out of February was one you probably know, Lonely and Gorgeous. This is the first of Tommy's songs to be for an actually big show. I'm sorry Pudopo, I'm sorry Bewitched in Tokyo. The song serves as the opening theme for the anime Paradise Kiss, a decently popular romance about a young woman becoming a fashion model. I watched through the show in preparation for this video, and in between wishing death on George and cheering whenever Isabelle is on screen, I was pleasantly surprised to hear other Tommy songs play as background music in random episodes. Once again, you probably know this one because it's easily her biggest song. I believe this is the one that got really big on TikTok a year ago and sparked her resurgence in popularity. It's the single that all of her promotional accounts use art of, and it's the one that this thing is based off of. This one's music video is the very definition of dicking around. It starts with February crawling out of a giant tissue box, and then half of it is spent in this room with her doing this and that and whatnot, and then the other half is February as a police officer along with her iconic pals Chris and Andy. I don't have too strong opinions on the outfits for this one. I think they're all different ranges of B tier. I have a strangely small amount of stuff to say on this one considering it's her most popular song, but I don't know. I like how silly the police officer bits are, but I think this music video just means nothing. Every other video has some sort of premise or theme that ties everything together and I can base my jokes off of. But for this one, you get the same experience watching it as you get listening to me talk about it. Well, no, okay, you get a better experience watching it because you get to hear a good song and not a jar of jam talking to you through a microphone he dropped on his head a few months ago. And after Lonely and Gorgeous was... nothing. Well, nothing for the next 4 years. The final thing that would come out of February before her contract with Death Star expired was the compilation album Strawberry Cream Soda Pop Daydream. This was a best of album for February, containing all of her singles up to this point, along with some standout minor songs and one completely new song, the aptly titled Strawberry Cream Soda Pop. Hey, scriptwriter Jimmy here. You can tell I'm scriptwriter Jimmy because how unnaturally focused I look with Tommy February6 on my screen. Anyways, as I'm writing the script, I came to a realization. Obviously the album and song titles are different. The song is missing the Daydream from the title, and it reminded me of another album, Patrick Doorstop Paranoia by Johnny Jash, and its song, Patrick Doorstop Paranoia Daydream. Okay, back to voiceover jamming, but listen to this album. I finally have an excuse to plug Johnny Jash on the channel. This song is... fine. It's a very serviceable February song, but maybe a little too clean and sanitized for me. It isn't humorously cheesy like Hey Bad Boy, it isn't tooth-rottingly sweet like Candy Pop and Love, and it isn't a soul-lifting experience like I Still Love You Boy. What I'm getting at is that it's too... safe. Though the music video is cute, I guess. I hate that there's a part where the audio just randomly fades out before cutting back in for no reason. I'm a very jumpy person, so that literally always gets me. For the outfit tier list, this entire music video is Tommy playing dress up. Do you really think I have the time to note every individual outfit that After this, Tommy's contract with Death Star Records expired and was not renewed, and so she went silent for a bit in terms of her solo projects. She was still doing stuff with the Brilliant Green, however, which had reunited a few years back. Now you might be thinking, well that's a lot of February, but there's still some left, why are you stopping here? Well here's the thing, when February returned to music, her paths directly intertwined with a person who had overshadowed her, someone that Tommy felt represented her better than February. Tommy Heavenly6. Did you forget about her? After Tommy Airline, Heavenly sorta took the spotlight from her twin. February stopped getting songs for a while and was reduced to cameo to music videos. But years later, when the album February and Heavenly arrived in 2012, they seemed to have made amends and could properly perform as a collective. But to understand that, we'll need to talk about the dark side. Which I'm not doing in this video because it's already way too long.